Hey, and welcome. Tom Sinclair here, bringing you another episode of Streaming Idiots. I tell you what, I just love this show because it just appeals to my better nature as an idiot. You know, it's as they say, it's natural. It's natural. Thanks so much for tuning in. For everybody watching live and in the chat room, thank you very much for all the suggestions and help in the pre-show segment. And for those of you guys watching us on YouTube, we're glad you're here too. I think you're really going to be interested in our guest today, Ted Kazmierczak from Tally Lights, tally-lights.com. He's going to talk to us about Tally Lights and how he got into the Tally Light industry and what's going on with Tally Lights and all the stuff you need to know about Tally Lights. But with Streaming Idiots, we are delighted to announce that we are now a Tally Lights authorized reseller. So if you've got an interest in Tally Lights, certainly you can call Ted directly, absolutely. But if you want to put that together as part of a bigger package with a custom PC and some really great software to make it all work, heck, we can even supply cameras and tripods and all that kind of stuff too. So if you're looking for a one-stop shop, Streaming Idiots in our store, easternshorebroadcasting.com, we can help out with that. So would be delighted always. And again, YouTube folks, please subscribe. We'll send you a notice, a very, very mildly mannered notice, nothing fancy, but just to let you know when we posted a new video so that you can tune back in and see what's going on. Now, it's kind of funny. Our guest today, Ted from Tally Lights, I ran into him. Well, I didn't run into him. I kind of became aware of him because he popped up in the VidBlaster user support forum. And the developer of VidBlaster was looking for a common Tally Light. You know, what was the standard in the industry in Tally Lights? And, you know, for a while there was no response. And then this character from Michigan shows up and he says, oh, well, you know, I build Tally Lights. And lo and behold, the developer of VidBlaster sort of rewrote a whole section of his software to accommodate the Tally Lights. And, you know, it was I thought, a feather in the cap of the of Ted to get Mike to do. Well, shoot, let's bring Ted in. Ted, welcome to the show. We're glad to have you here today.
Thank you, Tom. It's glad to be with you.
Ted and I had a trial set up on Skype yesterday, and I want to apologize right up front. We had an audio issue that we never could get our hands around. And if you listen carefully, it sounds like somebody's got some tennis shoes in the dryer. But I promise you, Ted and I do not have tennis shoes in the dryer. It's an audio artifact that we just weren't able to have enough time to troubleshoot, so I apologize for that. And we'll just have to work around it. We'll just have to, you know, to be focused that much more on what we're going to say. But Ted, you've been doing Tally Lights for how long?
Well, it's about 8 years now.
8 years. And how many different systems will your Tally Lights work with?
Anything that has a Tally output.
Anything that does Tally Lights will work with your system.
I will make it work.
So if I have something that doesn't work, you're going to make it work?
If it has a Tally output signal that I can pick up somehow.
But you're going to charge me for all the engineering that goes into that.
Millions.
Millions. That's right. Well, I say that because Ted has been going around finding all of the latest, greatest, you know, this streaming software stuff that's kind of popped up in the last 4 or 5 years. And now his Tally Lights work with VidBlaster, and they work with the NewTek TriCaster, and they work with Telestream Wirecast. And he's got a thing in the works where he's working with Martin Sinclair, getting them ready to go with vMix. I mean, Ted, you're going to make your Tally Lights just ubiquitous. They're going to work with everybody, everywhere.
Right. I mean, it works with JVC, Sony, Roland, Ross. When you bring my website up, you'll see on the side of it there's names of most of the big companies that my Tally Lights will work with.
Okay, well, we're going to get to that. Excuse me. Oh, my goodness. Sorry about that. We're going to get to that in just a second. But Ted did have a video that we thought was a good introduction to the Tally Lights. So let's get that up and and we'll bring that in. Let's see if we can get that queued up just right. Here we go.
Coming up in this broadcast, we will be bringing you all of today's latest news. Leading into tonight's headlines, we turn to world news with some late-breaking stories. The United Nations is investigating recent...
Anyone who has ever anchored a news program, hosted a TV show, or played any role as an on-camera talent knows that a professional studio environment can make or break a quality production. Executing smooth transitions from one camera change to another helps communicate the right message at the right time. That's why tally lights are such an important tool to have in your broadcast environment. If the network professionals think it's important, it should be high on the list of must-haves for all studios. Built-in studio camera tallies are well worth the cost if you have an extravagant budget. But what if your production facility is built on a smaller scale? There's a solution that can fit just about any operation and any budget. It's Tally Lights, a portable solution that can be integrated into just about any studio or production house. The mastery of this product is in the design. Each individual standard Tally Light unit comes ready to plug in and use. There are 7 LED lights on each unit, 6 in the front facing the talent, and the 7th faces the camera operator to notify them when the camera is live. Mounting to your camera is a snap. Simply slide the tally light onto the camera shoe and adjust the tightness. To fine-tune the tally light unit for different shooting environments, a control knob adjusts the brightness of the 6 forward-facing LEDs from fully bright to dim to completely off. Depending on the switcher you are working with, the tally light can display standby to the operator as well as a live indication. In some instances, your setup might require an additional tally signal feed to a second device. One such device might be a camera-mounted Marshall monitor, which has tally indicators built in. Another example would be to position a tally light at the base of a crane to let the operator know when his remote camera is live. Not a problem, Tally Lights has you covered. Connecting the tally light to your switcher is easy, as Tally Lights provides connectivity to most of the new tech TriCaster series, as well as most other popular video switchers and mixers. Depending on your switcher, up to 8 tally lights can be used in the system. Don't want to run any more cables? Are you working in an environment where a wireless system would be best? The wireless tally controller and receiver enable you to have a tally light on a mobile or studio camera without a cable, providing approximately 1,000 feet of wireless range. To ensure compatibility in your environment, contact Tally Lights so they can assist you with setting up a system that works best for you. Tally Lights has created a cost-effective solution that will work with most commercially available switchers. It's an innovative system that can be wireless or wired for ease of installation. All of the products are fully guaranteed for life. Join the hundreds of other schools, churches, and broadcast facilities that use the Tally Light system. Call or email today for more information about purchasing, operation, and installation of Tally Lights in your environment.
Awesome. Awesome. Great video.
That was done by a high school in North Canton, Ohio. Tom Wilson, who's the heads it up down there, that I met at a OTEC, Ohio Educational and Technical Conference, had his high school kids do that as a project.
Wow. Wow. And they got to use your tally lights, and they probably are still using your tally lights.
Oh yes. They said, "How did we ever get along without them?" So
that's right. Well, and for kids that are learning that craft in high school, golly, what a wonderful opportunity. But the jump from there to a professional environment is going to be much easier because they're used to using industry standard equipment. That's cool.
Helps on their resume when they're applying to college.
I bet, indeed. So we saw in the video the list of all the different switchers that your software, or that your tally lights work with, and your pledge that if it doesn't work with a particular system, that you'll make it work. But I also understand that you have a different pledge in terms of your warranty or your guarantee with these lights, Ted.
Right. Unless it's abused, if the tally light for somehow doesn't work, send it back to me. I'll send you another one.
Well, and here's a close-up of the tally light. You can see there's 6 LEDs on the front side, on the talent side of it. And this particular one happens to be set up with a wireless receiver right there on the left side of the photograph. And on the back side of the tally light is the indicator for the cameraman, and then the adjustment for the brightness of the lights too. And then it has this cool little hot shoe on the bottom, so it can attach to the top of the camera. And here in my studio, I mean, I'm a one-man studio, but Ted sent me this set to try out, and the cameras that I use don't have hot shoes on them. So you know, basically, I took a piece of Velcro and notched it, and it fits perfectly in the hot shoe. And then we just strap it to the top of the webcams, and so now we've got tally lights attached to our webcams. I mean, it is so cool. It is so cool. The one of the other cool things I like is that Ted worked with Mike Versteeg, the developer of VidBlaster, to get VidBlaster to work with his tally lights. And so Mike had to add something in VidBlaster, and Ted had to add a driver for his tally lights to be able to connect. But they did that, and now there's a whole new field of broadcasters who are using VidBlaster that can now be set up to use a very simple to operate tally light system. I'm just loving this, Ted. I just think this is the coolest thing in the world.
But I was going to say too, you know, tally lights work on 2 systems. One is contact closure, and the other one is voltage, depending on what your switcher outputs. Like a Sony, most of them use contact closure, where all your TriCasters are voltage. So again, depending on what system you're using, it'll depend on what controller you're going to need.
And so VidBlaster would be voltage. TriCaster, no?
VidBlaster is closure.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so VidBlaster's closure. What about Wirecast?
That's closure.
Okay, and TriCaster is?
Voltage.
Voltage, okay. And then what do you think vMix will be?
The only one that has voltage on it.
Okay. And vMix will probably be closure too then, eh?
Yeah.
Okay, because they're kind of similar in being software switchers. All right, all right, all right. That's
and
cool.
Another thing that you can mention is that a lot of times you want the tally light for the talent, but your camera operator is looking through a viewfinder.
Right.
So we can come off that tally light with a little 3mm LED, put it in the side of the viewfinder, the eyepiece, and the camera operator can see his red light when it's on.
Or green if he's in preview. Wow.
Unfortunately, we can only do red for that.
Misspoke. Okay.
Of the size of it.
Well, I saw that they had tally lights on the teleprompters too, so you guys can work with the tally lights that are built into teleprompters.
Right, and then just a few days ago, I just sent down to AutoCue, who is a teleprompter, a bracket for mounting it on from their teleprompter to my tally light. So I'm waiting to hear back from them. So.
I love this guy's attitude. I love it. It's going to make, that's how you end up with a product that's everywhere because you have an attitude like this. I'm loving it, Ted. Now, not only will it work with the little 3.5 audio cable, but it will work with other cables too, won't it?
Yes, you can have an XLR cable or a BNC cable, and I'm working on Cat 5 right now.
Oh,
but
wow.
For like the XLR, I supply a 6-foot cable that will come out of my controller, and on the end of it have an XLR, and at the camera coming off the tally light will be a 6-foot cable with an XLR connector, and then you just have to run your XLR or BNC between the two. And like I said, my tally lights wired work up to 600 feet.
Wow. Wow.
And then the wireless, if you get into that, that gives you 1,000 feet of signal.
Oh my goodness.
That's 3 football fields.
I can't imagine ever. Well, but you even had one to go further than that.
Well, we had a setup in that they had the studio was in New York, and the switcher was in Miami, and they were able to trigger my tally lights from Miami at the studio in New York.
Gotcha. All right. Let's see. We had a couple of questions in the chat room, and I think we've answered them. Somebody asked who did the video, and you've answered that. And then Al is asking if the camera module, if in VidBlaster it still works with just the camera modules, and that is true as of today. But we have a feature request in with VidBlaster to get the tally light to work with any module or any series of modules. So we're waiting to hear back from Mike Versteeg, the developer, on that. I think there's some sort of a table that could be set up with where you could assign a tally light to a module, or a module to a tally light, or a combination of their. For example, this shot right here would use 2 cameras. And so we would like, when this shot were activated, if this were in VidBlaster, it would be an effects module. If when you click this particular effect module, that it would activate the tally light for my shot and for Ted's shot, so that we would both know that we were on camera. And I think hopefully that's going to be a pretty simple transition to make, is just to add some sort of table there that's set up kind of like the macro window, or the playlist window that comes up as a separate window where you can assign things here and there.
And another thing that I have is a splitter, which will take the voltage signal and bring it back to closure, so that you could have my tally light on the front to the talent with the voltage to turn on the lights, but then you're watching a Marshall monitor. And so then we come from closure, because the Marshall monitor needs closure. We can come off the tally light with a cable and have the tally lights on the Marshall monitor for the camera operator.
Did we see that in the video? I think there was a shot of that in the. Yeah. Okay. So no matter how complicated the process, whether it's voltage or closure or a combination of both, you can make your tally lights work with that situation.
And then another thing that I have available, which is neat, is Blackmagic. They have the fiber optics, and so you have this camera unit at the camera that has a little tally light on it, and so I make a photo sensor that will pick up their little tally light that goes through the fiber optics, and it will turn on my tally light with a 9-volt battery, or I can make a cable to plug into a wall, as long as we can get power to it. So
I am just mightily impressed with this guy, folks. I tell you what, he has decided that he's going to do what it takes to make his company successful, or to make your company successful, and that's a winning attitude, Ted. Man, I'm blown away. I'm blown away. Well done, sir. Well done. And he's so modest, he's just going to sit there and blush. I love that.
I got a cute little story on how I got into this.
Oh, tell us. Yes.
I used to love to go to weddings or parties, mostly weddings, with my big VHS Magnavox recorder. So I would tape the wedding for the couple for the whole evening, and then at the end of the evening, I would just give them the tape and say, "Here, my present to you." So my wife found out in Troy that CMN TV in Troy, Michigan had a 10-week television studio production class. So she signed me up for it. So we got in there, we started showing the equipment and stuff, and when we got into the studio work, we got in there and the instructor says, well, the only thing we have a problem with is our tally lights won't work, and we can't find anybody to get them to work. To which I said, do you mind if I try? And they said, have at it. So I did my research, did development, built a controller, took it over there, and we got it to work. And so I said, well, how many other people are in this situation that, they have this problem? And so my son and I put together a website, and it's basically snowballed ever since.
That's great. That's great.
So.
It's a good thing you're retired so that you got time to be busy 12 hours a day.
Right. I knew I had to do something. I just can't retire and sit and watch the game shows on television.
Good for you. That would shorten your life for sure.
Oh, yes, yes.
And so you guys just said, here's something, let's give it a go, let's see what happens, huh?
Right. And then I had a studio down in around New Orleans, I think it was, where the guy bought my system, and he says, I got rid of my guy that would point to each camera to tell the talent which one to look at. So he says, not only did you save me that most of the kids didn't pay attention to the program anyway, and they would forget to tell the talent which camera to look at. So, a lot of good stories like that,
That's great. Now you were you went up to the National Association of Broadcasters conference in Las Vegas back in April.
Right. We went there, and I had my tally lights in 3 of the booths up there, and good response. Everybody likes them. So, I'm getting calls and responses from that. But what really amazed me is I was standing in line for lunch to get a sandwich, and this couple behind me, I turned around and looked at him, and he looked at my name tag, and he said, "Ted, Tally Lights, we bought your product." I said, "How do you like it?" They said, "Oh, great." So,
well, you knew he was going to say he loved it.
Right. I've had very few complaints, and like I said, I guarantee my stuff 100%. And if you get it and you don't like the color or for whatever reason, I don't care. I'll buy it back from you and give you a full refund plus your shipping.
So you won't turn this one pink. You'll just...
No.
Okay. But I bet you could.
Oh, anything can be done in plastic.
If the price were right. That's right. Well, that is so cool. And it probably is a lot of fun to get out there and bump into people that are using your product like that.
Oh, yeah. And then, again, the snowballing referrals, go on. And I've sold all over the world. Kazakhstan. How many, you would wonder, do they have a television studio in Kazakhstan?
Really?
Oh, yeah, but they bought my stuff. And so, like I said, I've had a lot of fun. It's interesting. And I love what I'm doing. And so I just want to continue doing it.
Outstanding. Outstanding. Now, what's on the horizon? I mean, what's the next step for you guys with Tally Lights?
Well, I'm developing a controller that will come from the switcher to the camera with your SDI signal, a tally signal, a microphone, and an intercom through Cat5.
Whoa.
So
Say that again.
And it's in development right now, so...
all right, whoa. You went right by me. So you're taking Cat5, good old
right.
Cat5 that everybody's got hanging around.
Right.
And you're going to run a tally light through it.
Right.
You're going to run video, SDI video. You're going to run audio.
A microphone.
And was there
intercom.
An intercom. So intercom, that's going to be going and coming. So that's two signals there. So
right.
That's 5 signals that you've got going over 8 wires.
Right.
So. That's killer.
Again, for the intercom, I mean, you're going to have the intercom unit at one end and your headsets and stuff at the other end.
Sure.
But I'm just supplying the signal that you can do it with.
And so you'll have a controller that everybody will plug everything into.
Right.
So I'll be plugging SDI in. I'll be plugging whatever my controller is in.
So you could have those 4 things and only have one Cat5 wire going through the studio.
That's amazing.
From each camera.
Right. Right. And okay, so I got you. So, but obviously this is still in development. Okay, so you can't tell us this.
Keep posted. Join my website and get the emails of what's being developed. Or I do have a Facebook page.
So we got to. All right. So we can go to Ted's website and we can sign up with our email address, first name, last name, title. All right, and then boom, we're on the list. Okay.
And the website has a contact page.
And that's okay. Let's go to the contact page. That was the join our mailing list page, and then here's the contact page. If I can get it to come up, there we go.
Okay.
And that looks pretty simple and straightforward. And then we can go to Tally-Lights, LLC on Facebook. All right. That is so cool. And we can like it right there. And now I'm liking it. And I'm going to be following what's going on with the development. Ted, I think this is the most exciting news that you've given me today, is the development of this new product.
Well, like I said, I'm hopeful that we can really get the bugs out of it and make it work good. If it doesn't work good, it won't be output.
Right,
so,
right. Any timeline on it, or just when it's done, it's done?
I would say in the next couple months.
Okay.
And then, too, at my webpage, you can see all the accessories that I have available for different stuff to look at. I don't know if you can go there or not.
Yep, let's go back there. And Ted's got he's got converters for 3.5 stereo to XLR BNC. He's got the Cam Caddy for the wireless tally adapter.
Right.
That's sweet. He's got the signal splitter that we were talking about just a minute ago. He's got a photo sensor cable. Oh, that's for the Blackmagic camera. Okay.
Blackmagic, or any camera that has the little red light, and you want to have a big tally light like mine. All you have to do is tape the sensor over the small tally light, and my big tally light will work with a battery or a special plug-in cable and what have you.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Oh, that's cool.
And the other thing I have going is for Blackmagic. Now, Blackmagic has a GPI tally interface box for their system. And so that is closure coming out. I now have a controller that will plug into the Blackmagic system, and you can have my tally light along with preview on it. So it eliminates their GPI tally interface box.
Oh, wow. Oh, it eliminates their box.
Yes.
Oh, my goodness.
So right now, or before, you used to have to get their GPI tally box, buy one of my controllers, plug the two together, and then run it to the tally lights, where my new controller is going to be just direct. You just plug it into their Ethernet, and it works.
Oh, that's too cool.
Yeah, I was at the NAB, and Blackmagic is very interested in that. So
I bet they are.
I need a unit for them to test.
Well, I hope you have got everything properly protected so they don't steal your technology.
Well, they can't sell it for as cheap as I can.
I am loving this guy, folks. These are the people like Ted. They just don't make anymore. So outstanding. Now, Ted, if somebody wants to ask a question, they can go to your website, to the Contact Us, and the website is tally-, and that's Tally, no E, Tally dash lights, lights.com. And they can get you, and we'll put a link in in the show notes below here on our YouTube page about tally lights too.
Send me an email direct. You go to the webpage, info@tallylights.com. Ted Chasm is my personal email at tallylights.com. There's a lot of ways of getting in touch with me, and I will be glad to answer any questions you have.
Yeah, Ted is really easy to get in touch with. Yeah, that's been fun. You know, some people I'll call and I'll get voicemail and I'll hear back from them 2 days later. And Ted, I'll call and he'll say, "Hi, this is Ted." I'm like, "Sounds like you ought to be a voicemail, dude." No, I got the real guy.
Well, when I have to go to the bathroom, it usually goes to the...
Okay, TMI. All right, let's see if we've covered all of our notes. I think we have. I mean, it's a simple in concept, but when you get into application, you can see there are just dozens and dozens of different ways to apply that depending on your situation. And what the takeaway for me is on this is if I have a need for tally lights, here's one guy that I can go to that is going to be able to, if he doesn't already have a product that's going to meet my need, he's going to figure out how to make it work with because if I've got this need, he knows that there are hundreds and hundreds of other folks out there that are going to be in a similar condition. And so this is Ted Kazmierczak, tally-lights.com. It's Tally Lights LLC. Ted, thank you. You're a prince for coming on the show.
Thank you for inviting me.
You're any closing comment, anything that we have neglected to mention that you want to make sure folks know?
If you need a tally light, let me know.
That's right. He's going to have you covered. Folks, I tell you what, it is a delight to have people like Ted available. And my hat is off to him, and I appreciate so much him taking the time to come on the show. If you're interested, go to tally-lights.com and you can find out more information there. If you want to have me build a custom system for you and have tally lights part of that, we can do that. Ted has extended to us the ability to resell his product for him. A 4-camera USB controlled will run in the neighborhood of $1,200, and that would be for something like VidBlaster or Wirecast, and hopefully soon to be vMix. So if you're interested in that, contact me, Tom at easternshorebroadcasting.com, and we can talk about that. But folks, want to appreciate the time that you have had in taking time out of your schedule to be with us today. It's a treat for me, and I hope you will join us again on our next Streaming Idiots. Thanks for being with us.